I really love getting to know a character, their inner world, even if they don't say a lot, but like if they can emote through their eyes, it makes you lean in. It's like, wow, that's the story.
How important is it for you to write bad pages?
It's very important for me to write bad pages. I love just getting everything out on the table. I love that. I love that first draft because you can do anything and it doesn't matter if it's not good at the end of the day. It's just, you have so much material and you're just emptying your brain. And that's really important to get all of that out. It's the second draft that begins to, I don't know, kind of stink a little bit because you have to really start killing your babies and looking at the parts that are strong and less strong for the story. But to get those initial bad pages out fosters ideas that you might not have thought were in there. And so, yeah, very necessary.
What's your research process? I mean, you're diving into arachnophobia, mothers and their children, and these urban legends.
Yeah, my research process is different for every project. For Recluse, I'm even less afraid of spiders now since writing that script because I had to really look at a lot of scary pictures of spiders and study them and research what their habits were, what their webs looked like, how aggressive or non-aggressive they were. And it was really fascinating for me, that process. And then with CRYBABY Bridge, looking at the different CRYBABY bridges around the country. Some folklore had, if you stop in the middle of the bridge, you hear a baby crying. Others are, if you go there at night, you'll see little kids' handprints around like the back of the car when you get home. So there's just different tales, and diving into those stories and learning about things that I hadn't previously known is just really intriguing.
How long will you jot down notes and ideas before you start writing page one of a screenplay?
So I'm a huge proponent of the book Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. It's my personal writing Bible. I know some people think that it's too formulaic, but it really helps me keep track of my thoughts and ideas and creates a blueprint before I go and start actually writing the script. In terms of notes, I will be taking a walk, and an idea will come to me, and I'll pull out my phone and I'll just jot it down. Half the time I forget when I get back to my office or find a scribbled note somewhere around my house, what I was even thinking about at the time. But so those are really fun. I'm like, wow, that sounds cool, but what was it for? But with Save the Cat, I usually have index cards, and I write very specific notes and scenes on those and keep track of everything. So that's how I take my notes.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, it's not just people don't believe in it. There's people that are like, they're so angered by even bringing up the word. I don't know why.
About Save the Cat?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, it is very divisive in the screenwriting community. I couldn't tell you why, but I understand Blake Snyder was a very nice man, and I don't know why. Yeah, it just drives people crazy.
Yeah, for me, I think it's nice to have a blueprint, and then if you have that guide, then you can scribble up outside the lines all you want. I can understand why people don't want to use that and they just want to write a screenplay, and that's great too. There are different ways writers write. But yeah, for me, it helps me a lot. I need that structure.
And it's an enjoyable read. You put a lot of humor into it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Do great writers plan out their stories, or do they discover them as they write?
I think it's different for every writer and filmmaker, whether an idea just comes to them or if they discover them by hearing something, overhearing somebody talking at a restaurant table, and they're like, oh, that's an interesting thing, or meeting a complete stranger. So I think that's a little bit of both. It's really hard. It's hard for me to explain how I come up with ideas. It's just, they just pop into my head, and then it's like connect the dots from other stories. So it's a puzzle that you put together.
When should a writer begin putting their ideas into structure?
I think it's different for every writer when they should put their ideas into a structure. I'm a big proponent of people just getting it all out, writing just writing pages and pages and pages, or note cards, or scribbling it down in notebooks, whatever works for you. I do think that structure is important at some point, because otherwise you're just never going to get it done. But I think taking time, and how much time, is an individual process. For me, I don't take much time in just laying all my notes down. I will first start on the characters, like who is the hero? Why is this person interesting? Where does their life start? Where is it going to end up? And how do you show the arc? How do you show the arc of that story? So I really like to focus on that first, and then build the structure around the characters.
Do you ever find yourself taking too long with the research portion because you enjoy it? You're alone with the characters?
I'm pretty disciplined. I don't know. I've always been pretty disciplined about researching, but also using note cards and starting my scenes out and moving them around so that like I can research, and maybe something that I didn't have planned in a certain scene, it will go there later. But I really like to have that blueprint there so that it keeps me on track, and it doesn't send me down that spiral of always researching and learning more, because then it's just kind of an excuse to not actually try to finish the project, I think.
What's the flip side of discipline?
The flip side of discipline.
Or, forgive me, I should say the downside of it.
The downside of discipline, I would say, is that you can be really hard on yourself. If you're too structured in the way you do things, then you're not open to new ideas of how to do things. And I would say that that would be the flip side of it. So I try to be me and what feels right, and stay on target with my task. But I also try to keep myself open to other people's perspectives and ideas, and let the story go where it goes naturally. It doesn't always work, but I'm trying to just be more open about that.
What about with yourself? Because I know the dark side of discipline is people can become very hard on themselves, and maybe they're not hard on other people, but they're actually more hard on themselves. How do you lessen the grip?
Yeah, it's hard not to be hard on yourself when you're an artist of any kind. And even recently seeing a screening of CRYBABY Bridge, or any of my movies that I've made, I'm always like, oh God, I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this. I should have done this. I should have done this. So I think it's hard not to just think about what you could have done better. But going back and looking, whenever I'm starting to feel those moments of just being not nice to myself and just being down on myself, I'm like, well, you did the best you could at that time with the tools that you had at that time, and you grew and you learned. And the next film, look at it, it was better for that reason. And so you had to go through messing up in your mind and what you think is messing up in order to have the lessons learned. And it's a continual process with every project.
If Alfred Hitchcock stood before us right now, okay, and said, a story is not really about plot, would you agree with him?
Yes, absolutely. It is about people. It's about characters. It's about their stories. Plot is the arrow that you follow. It's the arc, but the story is really about the characters. And character-driven films are some of my favorites, personally. Just the action-packed stuff and the CGI'd stuff is not really my jam. but I really love getting to know a character, their inner world, even if they don't say a lot, but like if they can emote through their eyes, it makes you lean in. It's like, wow, that's the story. So, yeah.
Anyone in particular that always stands out to you?
Oh, there's so many movies. I get to ask this question a lot, but there are so many great movies. Like, for example, I love the director Jane Campion. She is great. She won an Oscar for The Piano. I forget what year that was. But she directs and writes these characters that don't really say a lot, and they speak through their eyes or their body language, or when they do speak, it's not a ton, and I don't know, I find that interesting.
In our last interview, you spoke about maybe like a little argument you had with your mom when you were 10. Mm-hmm. And you said you kind of, it was a defining moment. You're like, okay, well, one of them. It was a defining moment because I don't know what prompted it, but you said, I know who I am and I know what I want. Mm-hmm. And that stuck with you, and I think you said you and your mom would talk about it. Have you ever thought about putting that in a scene in one of your films because it was such a defining moment?
No, I haven't thought about it because I don't think it's that interesting. I don't know. I was just kind of I really just have always known, even though I don't know, but I've always known or think I know where I'm going and what I'm doing, and then life laughs, as they say, and gives me a curveball, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going in a different direction. So no, I haven't really thought about that because I feel like I was just being a problematic 10-year-old. I don't think it's that interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I meant maybe woven into a character that had a strong desire for what they wanted to do in life, mm-hmm. and not maybe have outside opinions driving them.
Yeah, stubborn characters are interesting characters. A Man Called Ove is a great book and also was turned into a great film, and two great films. But the story is about an elderly man who loses his wife, and he's just very stubborn about what he wants to do. Things are done the right way, and if they're not done the right way, then that person's, not smart, and he gets angry with them. And it's a heartwarming story eventually when a family moves next to him and shows him a much messier way of living and are very kind, and it's a beautiful story. So, there's a turn for that stubborn character. So when it's done right, it can be interesting.
Okay, right, and that was a very sweet film, and I only saw the American version with Tom Hanks, but yes, that was heart-wrenching at times. That mm-hmm. was a very sweet film.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that it always has to be caged in the word of stubborn. Mm-hmm. I think that gets a bad rap. I think it's good to be headstrong. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I think it drives people to want to do things that maybe ordinarily they wouldn't do. So to make 3 films and more on the slate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, strong personalities interest me, whether it is stubbornness or just motivated in a direction, and nothing's going to get in their way. That's interesting because things always get in the way, and that's what makes for intrigue. And how are you going to, you're pushed into a corner that you don't want to be in. How are you going to get out?
Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end. Here is a complimentary question from our book Story Questions.